Hello there, Internet. How's it going? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for clicking on this one. My name is Pat Dan, and today I am doing a little bit of a return to form, a bit of you know, harkening back to the past. I'm sure my many fans out there, which totally exist and are not fabricated, in my mind, are thinking, "Wow, this is great. He's back. He's doing another MS Paint video, a classic. These are my favorite videos to see on the channel. I rewatch them every day. Stuff along those lines. I'm sure as you guys are those loyal fans, you're very aware of the kinds of things you're feeling and experiencing at the sight of this new video right about now. So I don't need to harp on that for too long. But I am in fact back for hopefully good. We'll see what um we'll see what life has in store. But I don't know if you guys are aware, I did recently drop a new fully edited video. I kind of have this thing, like this self inflicted, not inflicted, like self I've set a bar for myself basically to where I have kind of two main types of videos, and I think it's a good place to be able to like section off the two sections as like pretty different pieces. Anyways, the two parts of videos, the two kinds of videos that I have in my head are like the fully edited, like I make it as good as I can kind of video, and then the like one take, like try and do it like it's like a live show kind of video, which I think honestly the key to success is to like be willing to do things that are not necessarily your best work. And I feel like that's what the one take videos are kind of supposed to be for me. Anyway, I'm sure you guys have heard enough of that. You guys know all about my you guys know all about my workflow. You guys know all about that stuff. So I think maybe we can not dwell on that for too long. Anyways, as you can tell, I'm a little bit rusty. I'm a little bit, it's been a while. The microphone isn't quite, you know, my home sweet home, as it were. Um, which at some point, maybe I'd say this microphone is my home sweet home. I doubt it. I sincerely doubt that I'd ever say anything like that. If I did say something like that, like high likelihood I've been replaced by like an alien clone, and you need to like ask a couple questions that only I would know, just to make sure. I would recommend that's like sign number one of me being replaced, but I wouldn't ever say anything like that, so we don't have to worry about that. Anyways, I feel like a little bit more fresh than I would when I was filming a lot of these videos. I think a lot of my wide fan base might not know this little tidbit. I actually recorded like quite a few of these one take MS Paint videos that just never got released because I didn't think they were up to snuff. And I was doing that for a long time. Not a long time, but like a decent chunk of like recording at least one video every week, usually more. Um, because I wanted to have a stockpile, and I just kind of was like, these suck. I don't think I should post them. And so they never, saw the light of day, which I was right. They did suck. So I agree with my judgment on that one. I think I made a pretty solid assessment of the quality of those videos. Not good. Is that the result of that assessment, in case you were wondering? Anyway, yeah. I like sitting, period. That's the end of my sentence. I really enjoy sitting down. It's great. It relieves your legs from all the walking you do all day. No. Um, that's not what I was gonna say. What I was gonna say was I enjoy sitting down and like recording a quick little one, just a quick little one, you know, for the fans. Because I personally, the way I consume YouTube, uh, is like I'll watch every single video um, from a given creator, like in one sitting. And that will usually, you know, that will usually be the only time that I ever consume their content. I'll probably never go back to their channel again. But for that one sitting, I'm like their biggest fan. Like I've seen every single interview that they've ever done, every single thing that they've ever made, every single like video that includes their namesake in its credits. You know, I'm fully involved in the entire landscape of their filmography, if you will, which most people wouldn't. But anyways, and I think like if I try to imagine sometimes like my biggest fan, what is he thinking? King can't draw. Um, and I'm like, you know what? If I was my biggest fan, I would want like a large stockpile, you know? I'd want to be able to, you know, sit and relax and say I'm gonna watch every single one, and it takes me like, you know, the entire rest of my day to complete that list, which should be long enough to fill a day. Um anyway, yeah. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. Sure it didn't. But I can hope, you know, a guy can dream, which is what I do when I go to sleep usually, is dream. Um, been having some pretty standard dreams lately. And by standard, I don't mean like falling off a cliff and like trying to run, but you can't. I mean just like normal life dreams. Like I'll dream that like I'm like talking to like a friend who I talk to all the time. So it's like basically might as well be in real life for that. Like I'll dream about, you know, like being sitting in class, you know, like stupid stuff that happens anyway that like doesn't need to be occurring in my thoughts as well. But I don't know what that says about my psyche. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it too deeply. I think dreams have like a very, I don't know, they have a very good indication of where you're at in life. I believe that. I don't know what gives me that impression, but I genuinely think that if you like study dreams and learn how to interpret them, you can figure out exactly what a person's all about just based on like an account of their dream. Um, and I think like if I was to, you know, if I was to think too deeply about my dreams, it would give me info that really I don't want to know about myself. You know, I'd rather keep it uh up to the imagination, you could say. Um, would you say that? I would hope so. Anyways, as you can see, I'm doing a little doodle, you might say, of my good friend, award-winning artist, Kendrick Lamar, K. Dot, K. Dizzle, as we call him. Um, you know, us, his friends, we call him K. Dizzle. Um, Mr. Duckworth is what some people who think they're his friends call him, but not. They don't really know, you know, the real truth, which is that he doesn't actually care for them, so he gives them a fake nickname. Anyway, it's a whole thing. He's got a weird kind of he's got a weird kind of vibe. I'll admit that. He's an odd guy. And I think a lot of that oddness stems from his like intense knowledge of the world. Like he knows too much, you know? And that makes him weird, which I feel like it's there's a lot of people who seem that way. Like they try and present themselves as an all-knowing being and like they know what's up, but to find someone who's actually like that, very few and far between. But Kenny here, based on my extensive research, through hanging out with him day and night, and being his best friend, of course, as you know, he's got, you know, the true intensity of an all-knowing creature. And as you can see, he's got like a knowingness in those eyes that you really don't find elsewhere. It's really a trait exclusive to him, I'd say. I don't know if you guys heard the honk outside, but it's pretty loud, in case you were wondering. And I wouldn't be surprised if it picked up on the mic. I wonder what is happening out there. Perhaps a giant crash taking the lives of a few young drivers taking their first turns on the road, you know, maybe they'll never drive again because probably because the crash killed them, but also because they're so scarred of the events that happened, you know, that they now will forever associate with the road. All true, not making any of this up. Boom. Kendrick, you are my sweet. Kendrick, you are my sweet. Kendrick, you are my sweet. You're my sweet little boy. Oh, Kenny. I like to think that having the name Kendrick just immediately makes you a cool guy. I haven't like encountered any Kendricks in real life. Of course, I've encountered the real Kendrick Lamar. That was a lie. I've encountered the real Kendrick Lamar in real life. I'm his best friend, as we all know. So that was clearly just a slip of the tongue on my part. And we'll brush past that quickly because we know what the real truth is. But I haven't encountered any other Kendricks other than him. But I assume they're all really cool because I think that's like just an aura that the name gives you immediately as soon as you're, you know, popped out the womb. I think it's an inherent. You know what? I don't even need to include any of this nonsense. I think we can just go. Just go. As a wise man once said. Okay. And we go like this. Okay. I think that the platform MS Paint is the greatest outlet for creativity, I would say. Underestimated by the media. Unheard of by the masses. Secretly the best that there is. Something like myself, a bit of an underground legend, you know. Underappreciated, overworked, the lot. Let us eat lettuce. A fabled quote by the great Airsoft Fatty. Poor guy. What's his real name again? I forget. Anyone in the chat know who Airsoft Fatty is? For those not in the know, popular YouTuber. I think his biggest video is drinking Fortnite slurp juice in real life. Known for lightsaber battling. Also, he was in like a Big Brother style reality show, I think that they did with like YouTubers or something like that. Big crash out, I think probably happened. Another well-known incident. Anyway, you get the gist. He's a cool guy, to say the least. But he once famously said, "Let us eat lettuce," in a video where he tried lettuce. He's also like he's another one of those creators who leverages their humorous weight gain as a draw for the viewers. I think there are two things, really. Two things that really unlock the secret sauce to success as an influencer. And it really comes down to, are you inflicted with great inconvenience in your life due to your bodily proportions? And are you willing to exploit that? Those are really the only two things that matter. I would say. I'm a big fan of the TikTok creator known as G Bills. Kind of looks like Nick A30 if he was like 3 feet tall. Um, and he's got a certain amount of sauce to him that I believe is entirely because of his height and nothing more. I, I've analyzed many creators. I've gone searching far and wide for the best of the best. He comes out on top of the list. Why, you ask? He's like really short. He's really short. And not only is he really short, but he's also like, he's got a pretty solid build. Like he looks like decently strong. And being short and like decently built, it's a recipe for success, let me tell you that. It's a recipe for success in life, um, and YouTube alike, but life first, YouTube second. And I think he's really cheated his way to the top because of that. There's another little young man by the name of Little Jacob Walker. I would suggest investigating his content. He is somewhat of a comedic figure as well, also leveraging his height as a form of comedic relief for the audience. I really, really, really think it's a kind of a gross normalization of making fun of people for their disabilities. I think it's a horrible thing that's really being used to great gain for those who suffer from it. I think it's beautiful, you know? Um, it really is it's a true capitalistic beauty to see something like that occur. Pain and suffering used for monetary gain, especially when you're the one who's seeing that pain and suffering and you're exploiting yourself. I mean, that's just a beautiful thing. Really doesn't get much better than that. And to tell you the truth, I think it's indicative of a society on the upturn. Um, what the heck is happening? Okay, this guy looks like a freak. Can I admit that to you all? I just did, so I hope you're okay with it. That was the sound of locking in. I was doing my impression of me when I'm locked in right there. I hope you enjoyed that because I was really working hard on that impression for a long time. It took me a while to get it down. It's very tempting. It reminds me of one of G Bill's great videos. He made one particular video about a certain really difficult challenge. It was called the Try Not to Dance Challenge, in which a TikTok sound played various popular pieces of music of the modern age, and the creator, G Bills in this case, had to attempt to not give in to the urge to dance to these songs. Very hard challenge, might I say. And he did fantastically at it. I mean, obviously, at a few points he did dance. It's impossible not to. That's why it's a challenge. But, he still did good despite his lapses in judgment for a couple seconds there. And for me, that is very familiar because when I do my impression of me locking in, it's just an intense urge to like say something, because I love talking. I love hearing myself speak. My voice is like music to my ears. Is it crazy to say that? I don't think it's crazy to say it. I would say my voice is like music to my ears. And it really brings me like an amount of excitement that you couldn't possibly comprehend to hear myself speak. It's just beautiful, simply and utterly beautiful. Um, as someone currently drawing Kendrick Lamar, I might even say it's more beautiful than Kendrick Lamar. And he's a beautiful specimen. Like, not to discount his beauty, he's got a real face card, and everything else card. His entire being is just irresistible, to anybody really. But he makes it work. Some people will have trouble keeping that kind of persona up, but he really does make it work. And you love to see that. Uh-huh. I really don't like what I've done here, but I'm gonna give it my dang darndest college try. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. And it takes quite a bit to get me to lock in like this. I mean, I feel like that's good. I feel like that's great. In fact, just like apply a blur filter to this. I'm not gonna do it because these videos are completely unedited. Apply a blur filter to this, like a radial blur around the edges. Um, and I feel like you'd be good. Like a vignette blur. I think you like if you just ignore. Basically, I'm saying ignore everything around this face area. You'd be really good. I mean, you'd be great. Dare I say, you'd be amazing, fantastic. Now, let me just hit you with a little outro here. Thank you so very much for your time. I've been Pat, and you've been great. And until next time, kick rocks, pal.